Once upon a time in the bustling city of Accra, where the cityscape buzzed with life, the air hummed with the energy of dreams and heavy with the scent of blooming flowers, where the streets pulsated with the rhythm of life and the scent of roasted plantains wafted through the air, two souls found each other in a moment that would change their lives forever. This is the story of Kofi and Essie, a tale of love discovered, nurtured, and ultimately lost. Dive into their world with me and uncover the lessons hidden in their fading echoes. Kofi and Essie's story began when they found each other. Kofi, with his charming smile and ambitious spirit, caught Essie's attention one sunny afternoon as he confidently strode into her favorite cafe. She was immediately drawn to his charisma, and as fate would have it, their paths intertwined. On that day, fate wove its intricate design, bringing Kofi face to face with Essie, a budding artist whose creativity knew no bounds. Their first encounter was like a scene from a romantic novel, set against the backdrop of the quaint cafe, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sweet scent of Essie's favorite pastries. As their eyes met across the crowded room, a spark ignited between them, setting ablaze a love story that would captivate their hearts and souls. Essie's presence lit up the room like a burst of sunshine, her laughter as melodic as the beats of traditional drums echoing through the streets. Kofi couldn't take his eyes off her. Essie, on the other hand, was also stealing glances at Kofi. Drawn to her infectious energy, he gathered courage and approached her with a mixture of confidence and nervousness. "Excuse me," he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I couldn't help but notice your beautiful smile. I'm Kofi. Mind if I join you?" Essie looked up, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. "Nice to meet you, Kofi. I'm Essie," she replied with a playful smile. As they sat together enjoying their snacks, their conversation flowed naturally, as if they had known each other for years. They spoke of their passions, and so a friendship blossomed, their hearts slowly weaving together like the intricate patterns of the kente cloth. Essie shared her passion for art, while Kofi talked about his love for business. By the time they parted ways, a connection had been formed, and both knew this was the beginning of something special. Kofi was a young entrepreneur with dreams as vast as the ocean. His dreams soared high like kites in the coastal breeze, fueled by ambition and a relentless pursuit of success. Essie was a budding artist whose laughter could paint the world in hues of joy. Kofi, with his infectious enthusiasm and magnetic charm, often found himself drawn to the vibrant world of Essie's artistry. Her passion for art flowed through her veins, manifesting in every stroke of her brush and every color she brought to life on canvas. Their courtship was like a symphony, each note complementing the other in perfect synchrony, each note resonating with the melody of their budding love. Kofi, the young entrepreneur, saw in Essie a kindred spirit, a muse whose presence ignited his drive. Meanwhile, Essie, with her vibrant passion for art, found in Kofi a pillar of support, a rock-solid foundation upon which she could build her dreams. Kofi was drawn to Essie's artistic spirit, finding inspiration in the way she saw the world through her creative lens. He would often surprise her with impromptu visits to her studio, where she would lose herself in the strokes of her brush, creating masterpieces with her skilled hands that mirrored the depth of her soul. He would marvel at the masterpieces she crafted. Together, they would lose themselves in the beauty of her creations, their hearts entwined in a dance of passion and admiration. Weeks turned into months, and Kofi and Isi's bond grew stronger. They explored every corner of Accra together, from the serene beaches of La to the historic streets of Jamestown. Their love story unfolded against the scenery of the city's vibrant culture, each moment together a precious memory, a beautiful masterpiece of shared dreams and whispered promises. Their days were filled with stolen moments of bliss. Kofi would whisk Essie away on spontaneous adventures, exploring the hidden gems of their beloved city. Together, they danced beneath the starlit sky, their laughter echoing through the night like a sweet serenade to their love. On warm afternoons, Kofi would steal away from his busy schedule to surprise Isi at her quaint studio tucked away in a hidden corner of the city. With a mischievous grin, he would tiptoe into the space, careful not to disturb the delicate dance of creativity that unfolded within its walls. As he watched from the doorway, Kofi couldn't help but marvel at the sight before him. Essie, lost in the rhythm of her brushstrokes, seemed to dance across the canvas with a grace that was both mesmerizing and enchanting. Each stroke was a symphony of emotion, a reflection of the depths of her soul laid bare for the world to see. With bated breath, Kofi would wait until Isi noticed his presence, her eyes lighting up with joy as she turned to greet him. Their laughter would fill the room like a melody, a sweet serenade to the love that bound them together. Kofi would offer words of encouragement and admiration, his words like gentle whispers of wind that carried her dreams to new heights. In turn, Essie would accompany Kofi on his business ventures, her presence a source of strength and inspiration. Whether attending important meetings or networking events, Essie was always by Kofi's side, her unwavering belief in his vision fueling his determination to succeed, her eyes reflecting pride as he shared his dreams and ambitions for the future. With each step they took, Essie's eyes would sparkle with delight, her unwavering support a testament to the depth of her love. Together, they would navigate the bustling streets of Accra, hand in hand. And in those moments of triumph, as Kofi stood before the world, basking in the glow of his achievements, he knew that none of it would have been possible without Isi by his side. Their love was a beautiful harmony and balance. Together, they were unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with. And as they danced through life, Kofi and Isi knew that their love would forever bloom like the wildflowers in spring, and like the wildflowers that adorned the roadside, a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of passion and promise, each moment together a treasure they held close. They supported each other's dreams. Essie found solace in Kofi's unwavering support and encouragement. He became her biggest cheerleader, attending every art exhibition and gallery opening, his eyes shining with pride as he watched her talent blossom before his very eyes. With Kofi by her side, Essie felt invincible, ready to conquer the world one brushstroke at a time. One evening, under the soft glow of the moon, Kofi took Essie to his favorite spot by the beach. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he pulled out a guitar and sang a song he had written just for her. The lyrics spoke of a love as vast as the ocean and as enduring as the stars. Essie's eyes glistened with tears as the final notes lingered in the air. "That was beautiful, Kofi," she whispered. "I've never felt this way." Kofi smiled, taking her hand in his. "Neither have I, Essie. You inspire me in ways I can't even describe." Essie quickly chipped in. "I never knew you played the guitar." Kofi answered, "That's just my little talent." They both laughed. Each moment they spent together was a cherished memory etched into the fabric of their hearts. From romantic sunset strolls along the golden shores of the city's beaches to intimate, candlelit dinners beneath the starry skies, Kofi and Isi's romance knew no bounds, transcending the confines of time and space. As they navigated the ups and downs of life together, Kofi and Essie's love only grew stronger with each passing day. They were each other's rock in a sea of uncertainty, their bond unbreakable like the sturdy roots of an ancient baobab tree. And amidst the bustling city of Accra, where dreams took flight and love knew no limits, Kofi and Isi's love story was a beacon of hope, illuminating the darkest corners with its radiant glow. But fate, with its unpredictable twists, had other plans. As the seasons changed, time marched forward, and the winds of time whispered their secrets. As with all great loves, shadows began to creep in, cracks began to form in the once perfect facade of their romance. The once unbreakable bond between Kofi and Essie began to feel the weight of life's demands. Kofi's entrepreneurial pursuits, once a source of excitement and promise, now consumed him like a relentless storm. The demands of his burgeoning business empire grew exponentially, pulling him deeper into a whirlwind of meetings, negotiations, and endless tasks that seemed to stretch into infinity. The demands of their careers began to pull them in different directions. The once seamless harmony between them began to falter. The strains of everyday life began to chip away at the foundation of their once unshakable love. Kofi's business demands was swallowing his time and attention like a voracious beast, pulling him away from Isi's side with increasing frequency. He found himself struggling to balance his time between his professional endeavors and his relationship with Isi. Late nights at the office and the endless stream of meetings left her yearning for his presence, like a flower thirsting for rain. Isi felt like a distant memory in the chaos of his world. The hustle and bustle of the city faded into the background as he lost himself in the relentless pursuit of success, each minute ticking away like grains of sand slipping through an hourglass. As the walls of her fortress grew taller, Essie found herself retreating further into her art, the lines between reality and imagination blurring into a kaleidoscope of colors and emotions. And amidst the chaos of her swirling thoughts, she couldn't help but wonder if there would ever be a way to bridge the growing chasm between her and Kofi, or if their love was destined to remain nothing more than a fading echo in the halls of her heart. The once harmonious melody of Kofi and Essie's love began to discord as misunderstandings crept in, casting shadows over their once vibrant relationship. Like thorns hidden among the petals of a rose, their conversations became fraught with tension, each word a potential prick that pierced their hearts with pain. Words once spoken with love and tenderness now carried the sting of resentment and disappointment, the weight of unspoken frustrations. Their once lively conversations turned into terse exchanges, each word dripping with unspoken grievances. Miscommunication, like a shadow creeping over their love, began to cast doubt upon their once unshakable bond. Their once effortless conversations turned into strained exchanges, each sentence a battlefield where wounds were inflicted and hearts were wounded. Simple discussions that once flowed effortlessly now became tangled webs of miscommunication, their meanings twisted and distorted by the weight of hidden emotions. They became like poison seeping into the cracks of their fragile bond, threatening to tear them apart. What were once expressions of love and tenderness now carried the sharp sting of resentment and disappointment, leaving wounds that festered in the depths of their souls. As the distance between them grew, so too did the rift in their once unshakable love. Misunderstandings and unspoken grievances festered like wounds left untreated, each passing day driving them further apart like ships adrift in a vast ocean. As the chasm between them widened, Essie found refuge in her art, seeking solace within the sanctuary of her studio. Once a place where their dreams intertwined like threads in a tapestry, it now became her fortress, a refuge from the growing distance between her and Kofi. In the quiet solitude of her studio, Essie's brushes became her companions, each stroke a cathartic release of pent-up emotions and unspoken words. The scent of paint mingled with the soft strains of music, creating a cocoon of creativity where she could lose herself in the depths of her art. For Essie, painting became more than just a passion. It became a lifeline, a way to navigate the stormy seas of her crumbling relationship with Kofi. With each canvas she adorned, she poured her heart and soul into the colors, weaving her pain and longing into every brushstroke, like a silent prayer for reconciliation as a form of escapism from the ache of loneliness. In the solitude of her studio, Essie found comfort in her art. Each painting became a reflection of her inner turmoil, a silent plea for the return of the love she feared was slipping away like grains of sand through her fingertips. For her, the absence of Kofi's presence weighed heavily on her heart, like an anchor dragging her down into the depths of despair. She longed for the warmth of his embrace, the sound of his laughter echoing through the halls of her studio. But as each day passed without him by her side, her longing grew like a flower thirsting for the nourishment of rain. But as her devotion to her art grew, so too did the distance between her and Kofi. Their once shared dreams and aspirations now felt like distant memories, fading into the shadows of what could have been. Kofi, once her biggest supporter and confidant, now felt like a mere spectator in her life, relegated to the sidelines as she immersed herself in her creative pursuits. Essie, seeking solace in her art, found herself retreating further into her creative sanctuary, the growing distance between her and Kofi, leaving her feeling isolated and misunderstood. Her attempts to communicate her feelings were met with defensiveness and frustration, further deepening the chasm between them. Despite her best efforts to reach out to Kofi, their once effortless communication began to falter under the weight of their respective responsibilities. Brief phone calls and hurried text messages replaced the heartfelt conversations they once shared, each word tinged with the bittersweet taste of longing and regret. Kofi found himself standing on the outside looking in, his heart heavy with the weight of Essie's absence. The laughter that once filled their shared moments now seemed like a distant echo, a haunting reminder of the love they had lost along the way. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, Essie sat alone in her studio, her thoughts heavy. Kofi found her there, her usually bright eyes clouded with worry. "Essie, what's wrong?" he asked, concern etched in his features. She sighed, rubbing her temples. I feel like we're drifting apart, Kofi. Our dreams are pulling us in different directions, and I'm scared." "It's not just about tonight, Essie," he said, his voice heavy with frustration. "We're truly drifting apart. We're always busy, When was the last time we truly spent time together? Kofi knelt beside her, taking her hands in his. We knew this wouldn't be easy, Essie, but our love is strong. We'll find a way through this. Together. Despite his words, the seeds of doubt had been sown. They tried to hold on, but the pressures of their burgeoning careers began to take a toll. Arguments became more frequent, their once harmonious relationship now marred by tension. Essie sighed, her shoulders slumping. I know, Kofi, but I can't just abandon my dreams. This is what I've worked for my whole life. And so have I, Kofi replied, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and anger. But what's the point of our success if it means losing each other? The weight of their words hung in the air, a painful reminder of the growing distance between them. The breaking point came on a stormy night. They had yet another fierce argument, this time more intense than ever. Essie had an art exhibition in Paris, and it clashed with Kofi's business conference, and neither was willing to compromise. You don't understand, Kofi, Essie cried, her voice trembling. I have to make sacrifices for my career. This is my dream. Kofi's eyes were filled with hurt. And what about us, Essie? Are we just another sacrifice? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, Kofi, Essie shouted, tears streaming down her face. Why can't you understand that? Kofi's voice cracked as he responded. And what about us, Essie? Are we not important anymore? The silence that followed was deafening, the weight of their words hanging heavy in the air. Essie took a deep breath, tears streaming down her face. She spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I love you, Kofi, but maybe love isn't enough right now, and we need time apart to figure out what we really want. Kofi's heart shattered, but he nodded, understanding the painful truth in her words. I love you, Essie. Always have, always will. Regardless of their best efforts to bridge the gap, the walls between them only grew taller with each passing day. The love they once shared began to wither like petals falling from a wilting flower. The distance between them only grew wider with each passing day. The spark that once ignited their souls had dimmed, leaving behind only echoes of what once was. The love that once bound them together, like vines entwined around a tree, now felt like chains, suffocating their spirits and stifling their dreams. Their love, once a source of strength and joy, now felt like a burden too heavy to bear, weighing them down. Like two ships drifting apart in a vast ocean, Kofi and Essie found themselves lost in the currents of their own lives. Their love, once a beacon of hope in the darkest of nights, had become nothing but a fading memory, a bittersweet reminder of what could have been. In the end, they chose to part ways. Their love, though once a blazing inferno, now reduced to smoldering embers in the ashes of their memories, they were left with only the echoes of their fading love, like whispers carried away on the wind, lost to the passage of time. In the silence that hung between them like a suffocating fog, they couldn't help but wonder if there would ever be a way to mend the broken pieces of their love, or if they were destined to remain forever lost in the labyrinth of their own misunderstandings. Their love, though lost, had once burned bright enough to illuminate their world. They parted ways, each immersing themselves in their work to cope with the pain and their hearts aching with the loss. As they walked away from each other, their footsteps echoing in the empty space between them, they couldn't help but wonder if somewhere along the way they had lost sight of the love that had once burned so brightly in their hearts. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows upon the city streets, they silently vowed to carry the lessons learned from their failed romance into the unknown chapters of their lives, hoping that someday, somewhere, they would find the courage to love again. Months turned into years, and while the pain of their separation dulled, it never truly went away. They had each grown in their own ways, their love story a beautiful yet tragic chapter in their lives. Then one day, Kofi received a package. Inside was a beautifully designed wall art, intricately painted with patterns that told their story. A note accompanied it, for the memories we shared and the love we once had. Essie. Kofi smiled through his tears, grateful for the reminder of their beautiful, if bittersweet, chapter together, tears of gratitude and sorrow mixing together. Their love had left a mark on both their souls, an echo that would never fade. If this story of love found and lost resonated with you, subscribe to my channel. Join me as we explore more tales of the heart, learn from their lessons, and keep the echoes of love alive. Click the subscribe button now and become a part of our story-loving community. Together, we'll navigate the highs and lows of human emotion, one story at a time. Thank you for watching,